Hello and welcome students to the channel's Sumita's chemistry class of standard 8 chapter 5 Coal and Petroleum. So today I will solve the question answer of this chapter. Let's start. Now first of all, keywords. Fossil fuels. Fuels that were formed from the remains of dead plants and animals are called fossil fuels. Okay? Carbonization. Carbonization is the slow process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal. Next, coke. The grayish black residue left after the destructive distillation of coal is called coke. Next, coal tar. The black tarry material obtained during the destructive distillation of coal is called coal tar. Next, coal gas. The gaseous product obtained by the destructive distillation of coal is called coal gas. Okay? Now the last, fractional distillation. The process of separation of the components of a mixture on the basis of their boiling point. So this is called fractional distillation. Okay? Now the exercise. Answer the following questions in one word or a single sentence. What is a fuel? The materials that provide useful energy on burning in oxygen or air are called fuels. Okay? Now the next question, name the type of coal which contains minimum carbon content. Peat contains minimum carbon content. Okay? Define carbonization. Carbonization is the process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal. Okay? Now next question, which gas is also known as the town gas? Coal gas is also known as the town gas. Now the next question, what is the black gold? Petroleum is the black gold. Name the constituents of petroleum used to make road surface. The answer is bitumen, a petroleum product, is used to make road surface. Okay? Now next is answer the following questions in brief. The first question, why should we use fossil fuels judicially. Point number 1, we should use fossil fuels only when absolutely necessary. Second point, we can also use natural gas as a substitute. The reserves of natural gas discovered by us have gone up 10 times within 20 years. And the last point, alternative sources of energy such as solar, wind and biomass should be used in place of fossil fuels. Okay? Second question, give full form of CNG. Why is it preferred over other fossil fuels? The full form of CNG is compressed natural gas. It is preferred over other fossil fuels because it is an eco-friendly, efficient and convenient fuel because it does not produce any ash or smoke on burning. It is highly flammable. Third question, define the term fossil fuel. Give 2 examples. Fossils that were formed from the remains of dead plants and animals are called fossil fuels. Example, coal and petroleum. Okay. The next question, question number 4. How can we conserve fossil fuels? The following steps should be taken to conserve the fossil fuels. First, we should use renewable resources of energy like wind and solar energy instead of fossil fuels. Second point, energy should be generated from biomass. Drive vehicles at average and constant speed. When not necessary, shut down the vehicle's engines. Always keep vehicles under good conditions. Using carpools is a good way to reduce consumption of fuels like petrol and diesel. Walking down to nearby place instead of going by vehicles. Okay, student? Question number 5. What is calorific value of a fuel? The amount of heat produced on complete combustion of 1 kilogram of a fuel is called its calorific value of a fuel. Okay. Now the next question, what are conditions required for the formation of fossil fuels? Now the answer, fossil fuels required millions of years to form from the dead vegetation and animals that get buried deep inside the earth. They require high temperature and pressure for their formation. Okay. Now the next, answer the following questions in details. Differentiate between renewable and non-renewable resources with examples. Now the answer, renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources, the natural resources which are available to human beings in unlimited quantity and not likely to be exhausted by various human activities are called renewable and non-exhaustible resources. Okay. Now examples, air, water, soil and sunlight are renewable resources. Non-renewable resources, the natural resources which are available to the human beings in limited quantity and likely to be exhausted by various human activities in the near future are called non-renewable and exhaustible resources. Examples, forest, wildlife, coal, petroleum and natural gas are non-renewable resources. Okay, student? Now the next question, how are coal and petroleum formed in nature? Coal is formed from fossil which got buried under the earth's crust during earthquakes, volcanoes, etc., which occurred about 300 to 400 million years ago and were compressed by soil deposit due to high temperature and pressure and the absence of air inside the earth. The fossils got converted into coal. Okay. Now the petroleum is formed by the decomposition of plants and animals matter which were buried under the sea millions of years ago. The dead bodies of plants and animals sunk to the bottom of the sea and were covered with sand and mud. Due to high pressure, heat, action of bacteria, and in the absence of air, the dead remains were slowly converted into petroleum. Okay? What are the characteristics of an ideal fuel? It should have a high calorific value. It should not produce any harmful products on burning. It should cause minimum air pollution. It should be cheap. It should be easy to handle and convenient to store. It should be readily available, and it should have a low ignition temperature or kindling temperature. Okay? Explain the fractional distillation of petroleum. First point, fractional distillation of crude petroleum is done in a tall fractionating column in a petroleum refinery. Crude oil is heated to above 350 degree Celsius. Okay? Second point, the oil vapors raise in the distillation tower and cool down. There are a series of shallow trays in which these vapor get condensed to become liquid. Okay? Third point, the fraction which has higher boiling point condense near base and one having a low boiling point condensed in the topmost tray. And the last point, the gas which goes out of the column is known as petroleum gas. The various fractions obtained by refining of petroleum. Okay. Now give reasons for the following. Diamond and coal are basically different forms of carbon. Give reason. Coal and diamond both are made primarily from carbon, but their chemical structures are significantly different. Coal is formed from highly impure carbon that often contains elements like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen and sulfur. Okay. Energy is the fuel of life. Answer. Organisms use the stored energy in food to fuel all living processes. Food is organic molecules that serve as fuel and building materials for all organisms. The sun, directly or indirectly, is the source of all the energy available on earth. Okay, student? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe the channel to get the next update or video.